Hey guys, it's your favourite YouTuber again, Dami Solari, and you're watching DS Learning Finance. Whoa. Now I always talk about the stock market, but I figured let me give this week's episode a break from that and mix it up a bit. So I'm going to talk about what's been going on in my life. Stay tuned. Where to start, guys? Well, let's start with my car. My car is absolutely awful. Awful. I've been having so much difficulty with it. On average, I tend to spend between £100 to £200 a month fixing it. Can you believe that? And the petrol cost me roughly £100 per month. And people who do the same sort of miles as me, it only takes them, what? I'll probably say £40–50 a month on petrol. So yeah, this car's just draining me of my money, guys. Draining me. And yeah, it's a Renault Megane 2004. But that's not even the end of it. Can you believe this dang thing is leaking? Oil is leaking, engine oil is leaking from the car. And I've taken it to the mechanics. They've been like, look, it's time to leave, it's time to move on, like this car served you up. And you know when a mechanic's telling you, yeah, it's time to move on, get a new car, that means it's time to move on, get a new car. Robert Kiyosaki's saying is so true in this case. You want to maximize your assets, so buy more and more assets and reduce your liabilities. And right now this car is definitely a liability. That said, I'm looking to lease a car. So I actually went to a car retailer last week Sunday to find out what cars they had available that fit my budget, and it's looking like it's going to be a Seat or Suzuki. Hashtag German, Japanese cars are the best. Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be like one of those two. Yeah, I'm excited. But the main reason why I'm excited is not actually because of the car, it's more because of the step. I'm taking one step closer to becoming financially free. I'll explain that. Understand that obviously you're shifting from one form of debt to another. Yes, that's true. But I still am minimizing my costs. So that's taking me onto the right side of becoming financially free. So yeah, you can look at it from that perspective, but also from another perspective, the really good thing about leasing a car is that it's not your car. So a lot of people will say that's actually a bad thing, but that's a good thing in my case, because I spend so much money fixing a car every month. Now that I'm leasing a car, there's warranty on it. There's policies like scratch policy, paintwork policy, to make sure that if anything does happen to the car, it's taken care of under that policy. So yes, it can seem like I'm not owning the car, that's true, but I'm at the same time, I don't have to deal with the issues of owning a car that I would have had to deal with. And yeah, it's just a much more reliable sort of solution for me. Third and most important point I would say that leasing a car brings to me and enables me to get one step closer to become financially free is cash flow. Now, cash flow is the most important thing you can ever ask for when it comes to a business. So you can be a million, billion, cajillion pounds in debt, but if you have the right cash flow, i.e. the right money coming in and money coming out, the flow of your money, then that company can still be fine. So there are tons of companies that have huge amount of debt, but because they have good cash flow, they never ever have to dip into their cash reserves. That's how I view leasing a car. So when I'm leasing a car compared to what I'm doing now, it's definitely better cash flow because it's one steady form of outgoing. So I know that, okay, every month I've got to pay this much, no matter what happens I've got to pay this much. Whereas with the car I have now, it can fluctuate. It can be £100 a month, it could be £800, it could be so on. Of course I would have paid £800, that's just stupid. But yeah, like that's just a good example of just like how cash flow is really important. Whilst all of this has been happening with my car, I've been also looking into buying my first property. But unlike most people, I'm actually looking into doing the shared ownership of the property. So instead of just investing my whole amount of money in one property, I'm looking to split it 4 ways with 3 other people. So that's just really good for me, because it means I don't need that hefty amount of initial capital, initial deposit for the house. I can just contribute a quarter of what's actually needed, and that's awesome. Let me play the devil's advocate. Oh, that means you don't own a full 100% of the property. Yes, that is true. I own 25%. But at the same time, that means I don't have to experience all the burden. That means I don't have to worry about whether I can make ends meet in terms of payments, because I'm planning to actually rent out that property. It's about cash flow, like I said. So yes, you can picture it as, oh, I get the full 100% profit when I'm renting that property out. True. But you've used 4 times as much of your money as if I was to use it with 3 other people. So that's the mentality behind it. And who's to say that, okay, fair enough, I don't own 100% of that property, but I can buy 3 different extra properties and still own a portion of those properties. So I own 4 properties all day, and you just own 1. Who's to say that that property that you own the full 100% in may not be as successful as you thought it would have been? That sort of question. I've got 4 different properties. One of them is bound to be successful, let alone all 4 of them. So you don't want to put up sort of massive initial deposit, because that reduces your funds. Remember, there's going to be an endless amount of opportunities, endless amount of properties to invest in, but you're only limited to your funds. Think about it. Now I'm going to talk about 4 things to watch out for when you're looking for a new property. Number 1, stamp duty. Now for first time buyers, stamp duty is free. Also, I'm pretty sure for properties lower than 125k, it's free as well. It's tax for buying a property, and it's normally in the range of 2 to even 12% of the total property value. So we're not just talking about pounds here, guys, we're talking about thousands of pounds. We're talking about, imagine you had a property that's worth, I don't know, £250,000. You wanted to buy that property. That property would probably have a stamp duty around 5%. So that means you have to fork out 12.5k just on stamp duty. Yeah, crazy isn't that? 2 is the paperwork. Oh my god, there is so much paperwork involved when trying to buy, get a property. Understandably so, but I never knew it was going to be this much, guys. Like, honestly, I never knew it was going to be this much. It's crazy. Like, it's probably taken me 2-3 months, me and my other investors in the property that own part of the property. It's taken us probably like 2-3 months. Paperwork, just paperwork. So like identification, proof of address, proof of passport, proof. You would think they're like MI5 on this. It's good and obviously understandable, because obviously they need to make sure you are who you say you are. But man, it is tedious, guys, very tedious. So it takes a lot of persistence, and you've got to be motivated. Yeah. Number 3 is fees. Agency fees, broker fees, solicitor fees, and so on. Fees is really important. And what can be quite sad is you can spend so much money on all these fees, paying all these people, and then end up not even actually getting the property. So you've got to watch out for those. You want to look for serious sellers, not people who have like bad history of like being indecisive. You don't want those people, because often these fees are non-refundable. Also, if you can potentially get a broker or agency that is willing to offer a refund on that, and maybe it just requires paying a bit extra in a policy, then definitely pay for that policy, because yeah, you don't know with these people, you don't know with these sellers what they're going to do. Ultimately they dictate whether you spend money or not. So you can spend like thousands of pounds trying to get the paperwork right, but ultimately they can wake up on the wrong side of the bed that day and decide, no, I actually don't want to sell the house, and you would have actually lost all your money. Now this is kind of related to fees, but it could be the reason why you've lost out on owning a property. So number 4 is chaining. A lot of people get confused about what chaining is. Chaining is basically where you're dependent on another person who's not directly related or controlling the property that you're interested in. So I know that sounds a bit confusing, but picture it this way. You've got a chain to the property that you're invested in. That's cool, because you're interested in that property, and therefore you've got a chain to that owner of that property. So say that property owner was A, and then property owner A is dependent on another property, because in order for him to move out, he wants to move to a different place. So he's now reliant on property owner B, and so property owner B now dictates everything. So that's what a chain is. It's where you are dependent on the person B, and they don't actually own the property that you're interested in, but yet they dictate whether you get that property or not. That's the best way I can think of it. So yeah, you want to avoid chains, because ultimately the more people that are involved, the highly likely it will become for someone to be indecisive. So like I said, someone can just wake up on the wrong side of the bed that day and just decide, you know what, I don't care if they spent thousands of pounds, I don't care if they paid all of that stamp duty, I don't care, I just don't care if they spent like countless amount of sleepless nights just trying to sort this out. I don't care, I don't want to sell it. And that completely messes up everything behind it. It messes up the owner A who's looking to move into that property B, and it therefore messes you up, because owner A still has to stay in his property because he's got nowhere to move to. All in all, that's what's been going on in my life right now. I'm a very, very busy man. A wise person once told me that investing requires delayed gratification, and with that said, I'm definitely delaying my gratification right now, guys. Yeah, if you feel it's quite similar to your case, then please just hit me up, let me know, or if you feel like maybe there's something else that you're experiencing that you want to talk about, then I'm here. But yeah, with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share DS Learning Finance. Whoa, bye.